G'day, Paul Brennan, Bring Our Birds Home. It is Wednesday, the 5th of September. Here I am sitting in this beautiful period front lounge of Braemar House, bed and breakfast, right in the heart of Auckland CBD. This is the place to stay, by the way, if you want to come to Auckland and you need to stay a night or two. Give Braemar House a call. Look them up online. Talk to my good old friend John Sweetman, who has renovated this house beautifully and now operates it with his wife Mel as a bed and breakfast. They're good friends of Bring Our Birds Home. We're based here at the moment, and I thoroughly recommend Braemar House, which has an aviation connection. Gene Batten's father used to live here back in the 50s, and Gene visited this house apparently many times, so there you go. First of all, behind me on the screen, beautiful picture of what was ZK-NQC. Bit of a story here. At first we thought NAD, the airframe in North Carolina, had been scrapped, so we looked around for another authentic Kiwi 737-219, and the only one we could find that was anywhere else in the world was NQC, the former NQC. At that time, about a year ago, it was basically parked up and had been for 2 years at an airfield in Quebec, Canada. And we were negotiating with the owner of the aircraft to try and buy it. But it's turned out that Chrono Aviation of Canada have taken the aircraft on now and had it completely maintained and painted up in this beautiful black livery. It looks fantastic. It'll be operating for a while with Chrono Aviation into the Arctic Circle of northern Canada. We were aware that the airframe had about 2,000 cycles left on it before the undercarriage had to be replaced and other work had to be done. So still some life left in NQC, and isn't it looking amazing at the moment? And thank you to Paul Benjamin Jeffries for alerting us to this photo. And you're watching now also some video that I've managed to find showing NQC as it was back in the day when we had it in this beautiful livery doing its thing. So it's good to know that still one of the originals out there in service with the gravel kit on now, and of course that useful cargo door. I always referred to NQC as New Zealand's hardest working airliner, and it was good back in the 90s. Actually flew around with NQC for a day and filmed it being, the cabin being changed over from passenger to cargo, and a cargo flight down to Christchurch. It was a hard-working aircraft when Air New Zealand had a very useful NQC, still in service in Canada. Okay, so to the video update, and of course the last one was out of Wanaka. We made multiple videos from our Wanaka trip on the 15th and 16th of August, almost a month ago. We were able to meet local trusts and to brief them on what we're doing. Also, we had some good media exposure. We're following up with those entities now to find out what the criteria for making applications and for asking for funding is, and what we have to do to access that. And there are various parts of the project that fit in with their criteria as far as we can see. So it's been great to create those relationships and to get that underway. Also, I have a meeting with the Provincial Growth Fund people on the 12th of September, so in a week from this video update being made. And again, we're talking about criteria and making applications for funding now that we have some pretty good figures in for the 737, the purchase, the dismantling and the shipping effort. We pretty well quantified that in terms of price to within tens of thousands of dollars. And now's the time to talk with those folk to see that we have a shot at making an application and being successful in that application, given that the project that we have ticks a lot of boxes. There's a lot of provincial growth and development in our idea in terms of the activity that it generates, just bringing the aircraft back to New Zealand, the airframes back to New Zealand and having them restored. That can involve employment and, of course, engineering-related skill development. So there's that aspect to it. Of course, once these artifacts are in Wanaka and we're working on them, they become attractions in their own right. So that's more people coming to the museum, more people coming through the area. And of course, in the big picture, in the next 2 to 5 year time frame, these aircraft will be in absolute perfect display condition if we go through with our plans, and that again will enhance the visitor numbers to the museum and to the area, and will give New Zealand a credible civil aviation museum, a core of exhibits that can be built around and grown into the future. A display like this, artifacts like these 5 airframes and more as we add to them, keep on giving for decades. So we think we've got a great project, and we're hoping that we can fit the criteria and make a successful application to the Provincial Growth Fund. We'll know more in a week or so. Coming out of the Wanaka trip also was a meeting with Steve Wilde, a former radio colleague of mine, but now in charge of downtown promotions for Queenstown. He's a follower of Bring Our Birds Home, really supports the campaign. And coincidentally, it's just another one of these amazing coincidences, he is heading to Cuba and will be in Havana between the 20th and the 26th of September. I had a meeting on Monday just gone with Mario, the ambassador from Cuba to New Zealand, and what we're doing is sending some official letters from Bring Our Birds Home to the head of the Civilian Aviation Authority in Cuba, and also the head of Cubana Airlines, who we think has control over this airframe, explaining what we're doing, and to ask for access so Steve can go and look at the aircraft, talk to some people, and get footage and pictures of the airframe, NZS, so we can determine its condition and get an idea of actually who controls and who we have to talk to and build a relationship with to make a deal. So thank you again, Mario, for being helpful and really motivated to help us. And it's just great that we'll have someone in Havana, Cuba, in a few weeks who will hopefully be able to send back some pictures and footage initially, but also smooth the way for some relationship building, which needs to happen. It always needs to happen in these situations, to have a shot at reclaiming, as it were, the NZS airframe. Also, very shortly, you'll see hopefully on our Facebook page and our video pages, endorsement from Coleman Productions in the UK, who make the Plane Resurrection series. Very soon, hopefully, we are recovering metal, and obviously Nick's company is interested in filming a series on our efforts. Haven't quite figured out if that's one series or more, but we are talking about this project, and he will be sending through an endorsement of it and some of his ideas related to this series that he does, and how we can be incorporated in it in that video, which will be a great help to not only inform our followers of what the potential is here, but also as we go to the larger donors and the corporate donors, we can show them that if they help us, they can be part of the story and be carried basically on a Netflix series globally, Plane Resurrection, which already has an audience and a good following. So we're looking forward to getting that through from Nick, and we'll post it as soon as we get that. So in terms of the individual airframes, NAD, we're negotiating with the owners now. We are talking price, and I'm hoping to be in North Carolina in about a month or so to meet the owner and to finish off that part of the negotiation, get a deal. In terms of the DC-8 in Manaus, Brazil, I'm in contact with our representative in Brazil, Cesar Nogueira, all the time. He tells me it's okay. He talks with Infraero, the owners of the airframe, who own the airport company in Manaus where the airframe is. It's all good with them. We've got an agreement on price. We're just waiting for a judge to release the asset and let Infraero sell it to us directly. And we're dealing, as I keep saying, and it's sort of sounding like a stuck record, but there's really nothing else to say. We just have to be relaxed and just wait our turn. But I'm told not to worry, good things are going to happen. Basically, we've got a deal. We just need to get that legal thing sorted out. And I've explained the DC-10. We'll have Steve over there in Cuba looking at the DC-10. So we're getting down to where the rubber really hits the road now. We've got our charitable status. We've had enough donations, thank you so much, to be able to get to this stage. We've been pretty canny in how we've spent that money, including buying the JT8D-15 jet engines, which are sitting there in Mojave waiting to go on the NAD airframe at some point. We've also located an abandoned 737-200 airframe at an airport in Moscow, Domodedovo, and we have friends of Bring Our Birds Home looking into that who are in that area. And that airframe has the ailerons and the elevators and the flaps and the slats and all the bits and pieces, the undercarriage that we need to complete NAD. So we're looking into that. Apparently it's an airframe that's actually owned by the fire service at the airport. So we should know what we can do there, take the parts off, put them in a container, bring them home is the idea. So thank you for all your support. We couldn't do it without you. The Give a Little page is still open, and now we have the charitable trust status you can claim on your tax. We do need to keep those donations coming in because that funds the bread and butter efforts that trades us up to the bigger opportunities. So please keep on giving to Give a Little, and that helps us then to keep the project alive and to trade up to the bigger donor opportunities. And there's a lot of work being done with that right now, and hopefully we can make some announcements about that in the not too distant future. So keep on following our video updates and the Bring Our Birds Home page. Anything that we have to add, we'll do it as soon as possible, and when we know, you'll know, and that's the wonderful thing about this campaign. And hopefully in the next video update I can tell you exactly what we can expect from Steve Wilde's Cuban visit and bring in any more new information that we might have, especially post meeting with the Provincial Growth Fund folk. But for now, that's our video update. Thanks for supporting us. Remember, givealittle.co.nz/cause/Bring Our Birds Home.